Thank you very much. We're now going to move to our final session, and throughout the day we heard experiences from different member states. In our opening session we had messages from a number of different countries, and we now have a message that we'd like to show you from Hungary, Attila Fülöp, who is the State Secretary for Social Affairs. So each time we will hear their priorities and their challenges. So let's watch the message that the Secretary of State wanted to share with us at this Congress.
Dear Minister, dear Member of the European Parliament, dear colleagues, it is a great honor for me to be invited to intervene at this important conference and to celebrate the 10th anniversary of EFFE. I agree with those speakers who underlined today that in the current challenging social and demographic situation, it is essential to strengthen our social care system, both the formal and the informal care. In order to be well prepared for future challenges, we have to ensure that the home care sector also receives increased emphasis and everybody can find quality services best suited to their needs. The Hungarian strategy for long-term care has been prepared in line with this idea. It focuses on 3 areas: developing human resources, improving institutions and services, and raising awareness. Our aim is to operate a fair and targeted social care system, ensuring that people in need have access to the benefits and services that make their lives easier. We strive to strengthen social services to ensure that care recipients can access to the necessary support in their home and remain their own environment for as long as possible. We believe that by improving these social services, the use of residential care can be prevented or delayed. Please allow me to share 2 measures which might serve as inspirations for future activities. The first one is the so-called Care Watch program, which is a digital welfare service provided free of charge by the government to persons over 65. It provides security for elderly living in their homes and their families by using a simple signaling device to ask for help from a help center operating 24 hours a day. The second measure is the introduction of child home care fee, which was introduced in 2019, while we also kept the nursing fee. The child home care fee is paid for parents caring for their children being unable to care for themselves due to a severe disability or long-term illness. In the beginning, it was about €300, while for today, it reached the amount of minimum wage. Another important aspect is that entitlement to both nursing fee and child home care fee is taken into account as insurance period in old age pension, and it creates entitlement to health care. Besides, the carers can perform a gainful activity for maximum 4 hours a day, but there is no time limit if the activity is performed at home. Thank you for your kind attention.
So again, we've seen experience from member states and how they're beginning to put in place a care strategy which sets out entitlements, financial support, qualifications, and greater understanding of some of the realities of the care sector. You may remember in our opening session, we had very positive messages from Marc Angel, the Vice President of the European Parliament, who has been such a strong supporter of EFFE and our our sort of demands for the political response. And I'm delighted to say we have another message of support from the European Parliament, also a member of the European Parliament who has been a strong supporter. Coming from Finland, we have a message from Sirpi Pitikainen. She's a member of the Committee on Women's Rights and Gender Equality, and she sends this message for us.
Hello, and my best wishes regards to your Congress of Domestic and Home Care EU area. You are doing, EFFE is doing a great work on bringing together both the informal and formal side of home care and improving the status and understanding of the home care. In the matter of fact, you might know that the 70% of the people are taking care at home. And this is a good thing. But what is not a good thing is that we do not have the public supporting systems, we do not have the organized services, and we do not have enough focus for this area yet in the European Union. We are still too dependent on institutions and institutionalizing thinking. And think what the situation is with disabled people. You have the right to stay at home, at least in vast majority of the countries. And you are having the services at home. This is the future also for elderly people in the future. It is better, it is more pleasant, people wish that, and it is much more affordable than bringing and building new institutions. We just need to bring the awareness and understanding the role of helping and supporting the independent living and the personal budgets so that the support can be used in the best way possible from the person and the family's needs and perspective. There's a huge gender aspect in both public, private, home and domestic care. It is a vast majority of women that are elderly people, vast majority of women being institutionalized, vast majority of care workers in public or private institutions are women, and vast majority of informal carers are women. So if that undervalued work is not a gender issue, I just ask, what is? We need to raise up the value of homework. We need to level the practices, conditions, and the ability to provide yourself the whole work career with proper pension in the home care systems. One way of doing this could be the Belgian titre service model, but there are other models. And the question what I would like to pose to you and your activities for the future is actually exactly the question: how can we work together so that after the next elections, the whole topic of care policies, informal care and home care, and the condition of the workers in domestic care is taken up as one of the priorities in the social agenda of the Commission. I look forward to working with you in these topics also in the future. Have very nice autumn and best success to your endeavors in private and public life.
Thank you very much. And now I'd like to invite up to join me here on the stage members of the Bureau of EFFE. So that would be Andrea Zini, the president of Asindatkov from Italy, Carmela Acedo, the vice president of EFFE, as is Andrea, but the president of Grupo Sisi from Spain, and Marie-Beatrice Levaux, the president of EFFE. So please take a seat. Well, we've had quite an extraordinary day, and not least, it's the 10th anniversary. And what strikes me, listening to things and watching those videos from both ministers and from high-level European officials, is just how far we've come in 10 years. How much the issue is now on the European agenda, how much of the range of issues and the complexities of the situation appear to have entered into the dialogue at European level. So first of all, congratulations to EFFE for the work you've done for 10 years. But let me invite you to share your takeaways, your reflections from today. Andrea, I'm going to invite you to be the first person to share your reflections.
Grazie.
Thank you very much. First of all, I lost my voice, unfortunately. So I apologize with interpreters. I hope I can be translated. This has been an extremely important day. And what came out clearly is what we have been doing for the past 10 years. Homework, direct work, care work has become crucial in our societies. Now the message is clear, so we can think about the future with a clear mind. Freedom of choice is something that was brought up in our debates today. That is, people have to be free to choose about their future when they are becoming independent. EFFE was born as a federation of national associations that take into account home employment. So that means care for people who are dependent, but not only. Families and women in particular can also do something outside of the house. And last but not least, my conclusive comment, but it's probably the most important things. I would like to speak about childcare. Today, we cannot only count on what public services offer to us, also because sometimes work schedules are not only standard schedules. What we need is to make sure that we have regular employment contracts. We do need carers. We do need a workforce that is regularized in a system that the state can somehow control. This is essential for all workers and for the state itself.
Thank you very much. Maria Beatriz, would you like to share your key takeaways from today?
It would take much time until tonight, but I'll conclude later on. And all the discussions we've had today, when I heard the speakers were saying, I had the impression that we made a comeback on to the past 10 years. And at the end of the day, the subjects are always the same, yes, but there's a glimpse of hope. And what I can say today is that I'm very proud that we managed to table this subject on the table 10 years ago with the help of my colleagues, and we realized through all the interventions, sometimes very subtle interventions during this whole day, it dawned on us that taking care of the others means that we take care of everyone, of each and everyone. European citizens, as Andrea said, when they are young parents, children, disabled people. It means also that we take care of the carers. And when we have understood that taking care is something holistic, we've talked about professionalization, the recognition of skills and caregivers. But I think that if we should highlight one word, and I would like to thank the previous speaker, a new European term is about to open after the election, but we must bear in mind that we must take care of Europe as a space of freedom and democracy. A space.
Nos pères fondateurs ont construit, c'est prendre soin de l'Europe, c'est...
Member states must take care of their populations, of their citizens, and public decision makers must not think that when there is a top-down approach, then that the work is done. No, we must go further. There's the issue of workers, households as employers, and all the tiers of the public policy, municipalities, regions, states, or the various organs in Brussels. We are all committed to taking care of each other. And I will give the floor to my friend Carmen so that she can tell us what she thinks.
Well, thank you very much. It was very pleasant. It's a pleasant surprise to see that we have the same perspective. We have a common perspective on what needs to be taken into account in the sector, and we know what the right steps are in order to build this. Of course, there's differences among the countries. There's a lot that we yet have to learn, especially from France and Italy. My idea is that we have many lessons learned that are interlinked. We've been able to transform our systems according to the demographic evolution and the green and digital transition. Many said that the next transition will be the migratory transition, another challenge that we yet have to face. Someone else mentioned the fact that the social economy can greatly contribute to our sector. And I would also like to underline the Hungarian perspective on how different actors can collaborate as part of the same project. I believe that all of these are very inspiring examples.
We'll come back to you in a little bit to hear your views going forward, but let me introduce our final speaker who is joining us, the Director of the International Labour Organisation's Office to the European Union and Benelux countries, Lieve Verboven. Can I invite you to come take the stage and make your intervention?
Good evening. Unprotected, undeclared, uncared for, without a voice. So often, domestic workers are in that situation. I'm Lieve Verboven. I'm from the International Labour Organization, which unites workers, employers, and governments of 187 member states. And I'm here with you tonight. I'm thrilled to be here at your 10th anniversary. What I would like to do is have a bit of an overview on where we stand right now, but more from a global perspective, taking you from your seat, put on glasses that sees the world. See where we stand now, what needs to be done, and how we can all make a difference. be it here, be it globally. So, where do we stand? Well, 2 years ago, I remember, we co-organized a Congress together. It was still virtually. So, and that was to celebrate 10 years of ILO Convention on Domestic Work. That convention, if we look back, was quite a benchmark, because in 2011, workers and employers and governments realized that, well, we have a full set of standards, international standards for workers to guarantee their rights. And what happens? We see that domestic workers are not having those same rights. So the very point of giving equal rights to every worker was addressed with that convention. A convention is one thing. It's an international standard. But more important is the ratification and the implementation of that convention. And that is 2 years ago what we looked at together. How many countries have ratified it? And we see out of the 36 ratifications,